Hello students, I am Vidya Sagar, lecturer in computer science. In this video session, I am going to explain about the HTML forms. This is our session number 15. Session plan. What is a HTML form? A HTML form is a HTML document. Simply, it is a document developed by a web developer. For what purpose HTML form is used? HTML form is used to collect the information from the website visitor. Say I developed one website and you are visiting my website. So if I wanted to collect the information, then I have to provide one form to you in the website. So in that form, the visitor will enter the information and click on submit button. Once the user click on submit button, then that data will reach to me. So what is the medium which I am providing to the user? Form is the medium. So I am giving a form, user is filling the form and user is submitting and it is reaching to my server. These are some of the images I am displaying to you. So in this, user will enter and click on submit form and the data will reach to the server which is connected to this form. Another form I am displaying here. So there are different types of forms, according to the website, there are plenty of forms they will prepare. So that particular website visitors will enter the information and click on submit button to submit their data. This is even a very common thing when we are applying for our higher studies, when we are applying for any job or for any interview. Generally, we are filling the form, or for any registration while we are registering for anything. So we may fill the form. HTML forms are required when you wanted to collect some data from the website visitor. In the HTML forms, generally we are provided with checkboxes, input boxes, radio buttons, submit buttons, and many more. So by using the elements, we are designing the HTML form document. And after the user enters all the information, then the user is going to click on the submit button. So once the user is submitting the data, then it will reach to the server to which we are giving the connection. Let us try to understand this practically. And anyhow, I am providing some of the important resources which may be useful for you. Let us see everything practically. Now I am opening one notepad file. I will type the program here. Doc type HTML should be the first line of every HTML program. Opening the head tag, opening the body tag, now opening the form. So from now onwards, please pay a little more attention for this video. So form is a tag and I have to use an attribute known as action attribute. In this attribute, I am going to mention the server address. What I am going to mention here? Server address. Means once the user clicks on the submit button, whatever the address you specify here, to this address the data will be forwarded. If you don't write this action attribute, or if you are writing invalid server address, then you will see a reply known as file not found or server not found. Next, one more attribute, target. See, once the form is submitted, once the user click on submit button, so the form has to be submitted in the same page, then put self. If you don't want that to happen, means once the form is submitted, the form submission has to be happened in a new tab, then use underscore blank. Target must be underscore blank. Okay, so I mean this is very simple. Once the visitor click on submit button, the changes has to be happen. The web page will get reloaded, and you will see the form has been submitted successfully. Something like that you will see. So this has to happen in the same tab, or it has to open in a new tab. So I prefer to make that happen in the new tab. So that's why I will use blank. Next attribute. What is the next attribute of their form tag? Method. So there are two methods are there, get method and post method, but I don't use get method, I will use post method. So what happens if I use get method? So when I use get method, what will happen is all that will be visible, all the data is going to be in the address bar. What is this known as? Address bar. In the address bar itself, the data is going to be visible for you. So I don't want that to happen. So there might be some sensitive data of the users. So when they are submitting, I don't want that to be visible in the address bar. So I will use post method. So what we covered, three important attributes we covered. One is form attribute. First attribute is action, where we specify the web server address. Next, target, form submission to be happen in the same tab or new windows, like that kind of things can be decided with the target attribute. So in what format the data has to be forwarded to the server, get method or post type. So get means data will be visible, and post means data will not be visible and highly secured. So always I love to use method called post only. Now I will write name. This text will be visible in the output window. Now what I am going to write is input type is equal to input. This is one of the form element, input type. There are many form elements are there. So I am using few of the types, form elements here. Input type is equal to text box. Text box. And I will use one submit button. Input type is equal to submit. Sorry, I have to use small letters only, submit. And I have to use value compulsory. One more attribute I have to use, that is value. Value is equal to submit my data. So in the value, whatever you write, that is going to appear on the button of the submit button. Okay, so submit the form, simply submit the form. So this word called submit the form is going to be visible over the submit button. Okay, let me show you this. First let me close the form tag, closing the form tag, closing the body tag, and closing the HTML tag. Let me save this. Say for example demo.html. I'm saving it on my desktop. So Google Chrome is my default browser, that is the reason it is showing in this with this icon. So opening this, yeah, so you can see that name is the text by the text is coming, and here one box is provided here. What is this box? Name box. Okay, submit the form is a button. Okay, it's appearing in the same line, so I wanted to push it to few lines down. So I will use break tag for that. I hope everybody know what's the purpose of break tag, to get the information in a new line. Okay, you can see this, I moved it to 3 new lines. So name, here what is this? It is one of the text box provided. So one type of text box is provided. Next, I will show another type of text box also. Let me show you that. Name, age of the person. Say for example, if I wanted to display the age of the person, then I will write input type is equal to, in this what I'm going to write is say number. So number I will write, and I can specify maximum. What is the number? Means say for example 100. say you can specify the maximum and minimum values, so user can select only, user can give the value only in between the maximum minimum values what you are giving. Say age, say for example it should be 18, minimum 18, then you can give minimum is equal to 18. Okay, so you can see this output. So I'm reloading the page. Okay, you can see this. Oh, there is this little bit clumsy. So whenever you feel that the form elements are clumsy, then at that point of time you can use a break tag or the required tags to make your form little bit clear. So name and age. So you can see here. So you can start from 18, that's the minimum value, and you can go till 100, that is the maximum value, so it can't go beyond that. Okay, because that's how you have given in the program. Next, so one more thing, next is one more type of input I would like to show you, that is say, okay, before that break tag, let me write the break tag. Okay, now say for example you are taking Aadhaar number of the website visitor, say Aadhaar number. So now what you need to type is input type is equal to, say I don't want that to be visible to anybody while they are typing, that should not be visible, then what I have to use, input type is equal to password. So now filling the page, you can see here, so if the user enters any number, that will not be visible. Okay, the very important point, now I will tell you about this input type. For every input type, whenever you write, you have to write two important things, that is id and name attributes. You have to write some id is equal to, say for example id is equal to say I1, id I1. Next, name is equal to something, some description you need to give. So you can consider, like in simple terms, you can consider that this is the description you are giving to this form data, form element data. Okay, so for example, if you are a student, then student will have ID, student will have name. Okay, faculty, I am a lecturer, I have ID and I have name. In the similar way, you are sending the data to the server. That data, that particular data should have some ID and some name. Okay, so that is the purpose generally we write for ID and name. So you can write anything here, like it can be like a description, like that. Okay, now you might get a doubt, sir, I don't want to write this, then what is going to happen? Just let me type this first of all, something like n2. So what is going to happen, is there any disadvantage if I don't write? Okay, let me type this and then tell you that. Then n3. Okay, now what will happen is, if you don't use this id and name, this particular form element data will not be received by the server. Say for example, you got a courier from someone. Okay, you got a parcel from someone, so there is nothing specified, like what is the parcel name, what is the, from where it got, nothing is there. Are you able to accept it? Okay, so generally we don't accept such kind of things. So every parcel what we receive, okay, we will expect some ID or some name. In the similar way, user will enter the data and user is sending the data. Okay, so when user is sending the data, that data must have some ID and name. So who has to write this? Web developer has to, I mean the HTML form developer has to write this. So we are developers. So what we need to write? ID and name. If you don't write, what will happen? User will write his name, his or her name, but that will not be received by our server. That is a problem. So that is the reason whenever you use input type, please write ID and name. I hope you understand this ID input type things. Next, let us move to the checkbox and radio button. So for example, let me take the break tags. So 3 break tags I wanted to use this time. 3 break tags. Now languages known. So this can be multiple, right? So whenever you want your user your website user to select multiple options provided by you, then you can use a input type called checkbox. So let me write that input type is equal to checkbox. Checkbox. Okay. Now I will write like this. Say for example, English. English. Next. Now one more input type is equal to checkbox I have to use. I mean, I will use for 4 languages. Say for example, something like Telugu and something like Hindi and something like Tamil. Okay, like that. Okay, so now what will happen? See, after every checkbox, if you want, you use the break tag here, here, here. So that is completely according to your requirement. So okay, so I am not using any break tag here. So language is known and the data is visible here. Okay, English, Telugu, Hindi, Tamil. So user can select multiple options. User can select here multiple options. So what you are providing here, one checkbox you are providing. This is one of the button, simply checkbox kind of a button you are providing here. Next, in some situations you want your user to select only one value among multiple values provided by you. Example, let me first use the break tag here. Break tag. Now say for example, which year you are studying. Are you studying first year or second year or third year? Which year you are studying? So in that case, I mean, this is for any degree student, then the user has to type only user has to select only one value, right? So input type is equal to radio, and then I will write first. Before going to the output part, so let me ask you one question. So how many radio frequencies you can listen at one instance of time? I mean, how many channels you can listen at a time? Only one, right? In the similar way, whenever you want your users to select only one option among many options, radio input type is equal to radio is the best option for that. So let me save the program and reload the page. Reload the page. You can see this. Which year you are studying, first, second, or third. So user can select only one among the options provided. And this is the where is the closing of this. Okay, after this one submit button is there. Okay, so you can provide again the submit button here, reset button or clear button, something like that. You can provide. Okay, so this is program number 16. So let me show you what is this program 16. Sorry, program number 15. So this program 15 says that you have to use text box, you have to use checkbox, and you have to use the radio button. So 3 things are done in this program. Okay, so let me show you the source code once again. View page source. I always prefer to see the source code in the browser. So simply in the output part, give a right click and say view page source, and then you can see the source. Because all tags will take HTML tags will take purple color, attributes will take little brown color, and the values of the attribute will take blue color, and the text what you are displaying simply will take black color. Hope you understand this. This is the source code and this is the output. Let me go back to the presentation part. I hope everybody understood these concepts. If you have any doubts, please reach me. Thank you, all of you.